Welcome to Welcome to Topper Talk, your number one Western Kentucky athletics podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Moffitt, and I'm joined by co-host Tyler Bailey. Hilltopper Nation, whether it's happening on the hill or on the road, grab those red towels, stand up and cheer, because it's up next on Topper Talk. Welcome back, and thank you for downloading and listening to another episode of the Topper Talk podcast, the official podcast of the Red Towel Trust Collective. As always, follow us on our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Feel free to follow us at any and all of those. And this podcast is sponsored by the Fireman Moving Company. The Fireman Moving Company is the official moving company of WKU Athletics. Not only can they be trusted to move all the coaches in and out of Western, but they can move you anywhere nationwide. The Fireman Moving Company is owned and operated by firemen and is founded by WKU alumni. If you're looking to move sometime soon, give them a call at 270-791-1755 and get yourself a free quote. Again, I promise you, like I say, it'll be worth every dollar that you spend. They will save you time and effort, and they just make your life easier, man. As always, I've got Tyler here with me, or as I like to call him now, First Shift Tyler, joining me for another episode. We got a lot to dive into, man. You ready to get started?
Yeah. Hopefully this dinner I got digests pretty soon, because right now I'm full as a tick bull. But I'm ready to jump in this. Let's get this episode going.
Now, usually, our episodes usually revolve around basketball, football, but this episode is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be what I like to look at as a Red Towel wrap-up episode, which is there's not anything big football or basketball going on. Last episode was basketball hiring a coach, and we talked about that. And, as there's more news in that arena, we'll talk about it. Next weekend we have the spring football game coming up. We'll talk about it and all the portal news that I'm sure will follow it. But this episode, we're going to just talk about the Red Towel wrap-up, just all the other spring sports that are going on right now. There's really just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of good stuff going on in WKU athletics right now. But before we do that, that segment is sponsored by Trent Bedding. So let's get a word from our sponsor, Trent Bedding, before we dive into everything.
Don't forget your headboards, pillows, and your sheets. We got everything you need for a good night's sleep. Number one on the same check, best of Bowling Green. All right. Hey!
Twins, full, queen and king, mattresses for anything. Come and pick it out and we can bring it to your house. Have you sleeping real good before the weekend's out. Trent Bedding. It's just like a mattress store. Hey.
Gosh, that song makes me laugh every time that commercial. But this has been teased, and now we're happy to announce the College Huddle announcement is official. Topper Talk is the official WKU representative of this fan-driven podcast community.
Yeah, man. Like you said, this has been teased for several months now. This has been in the works behind the scenes by just a large group and collective, a community of fan-driven podcast, we're calling this. They invited us early on in this, network of fan-driven podcasts being put together. They invited us to be the official WKU representative. And there's really going to be a lot of good stuff that comes from this. There's going to be, built-in collaborations with, conference mates, out-of-conference opponents, people you may meet in the postseasons, etc. There's going to be opportunities for national shows that we can do on a weekly basis where you can have conference specific shows or even just a national show talking about all the sports and programs going on. So just a really awesome and fun opportunity that we're looking forward to. It's going to do nothing but help us grow and kind of continue what we're doing here. And I do just want to drop the commercial that we teased and then officially put out yesterday to make the launching of the College Huddle official. So here that is right now.
In this new era of college football, where old-fashioned media just won't cut it, I'm proud to present a new voice for college football fans, the College Huddle, your number one source for fan-driven college podcasts.
And if you see that map lays out. We've shared that on all of our social medias: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We've shared that everywhere. I mean, we right now, as it stands, we have 70 podcasts. We have at least one podcast from every conference. Multiple conferences have a lot of sports and schools represented. Um, Almost all the states in the United States are have been represented. So we're going to keep going and growing that until all the schools have a represented podcast there. So we're really looking forward to that, and just all the opportunities and collaboration and growth and learning that it's going to provide for just everyone, fans that listen to us, fans of other schools. It's going to be really fun, getting that going and getting it off the ground.
And I'd also like to add to that, we may not be the longest running in season WKU sports podcast, but we are the only one who is trying to be a part of this and to better the WKU sports podcasting community. I just wanted to throw that out there. Moving on, softball lost to Lipscomb 3-4. Tennis lost to North Alabama 1-4, and tennis won over Kentucky Wesleyan College 7-0.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add for some losses. Softball obviously had a tough loss there. Tennis lost to North Alabama at home. Ended that I think they had a 7 or 8 match winning streak at home. But later we'll talk about them bouncing back again. They bounced back and beat KWC later that same day. But tennis is on the right path. They've won more than they've lost, and continue to do good things over there. Now let's look and talk about the WKU track. They were competing in the Joe Walker Invitational last weekend. Natanya Linares placed second in the heptathlon high jump at 1.61 meters. Alja Basic placed fifth with a personal record in the hammer throw at 68.82 meters. Kinsley Kunkel placed first in the 5,000 meter run at 17:49. Katie Eisenbarger placed first in the high jump with a personal record and a school record of 1.86 meters, which beat her personal best, and the school record used to be 1.82, so she increased that to 1.86. Then Amelia Lesniak and Grace Turner also finished second and third in the high jump. That's why we're the number 2 ranked high jump team, school program, whatever you want to call it, in the nation right now in track and field. The number 2 high jump. We just finished first, second, and third in a pretty big meet. On the men's side, Nick Fornoff cleared a new personal record at 1.99 meters in the high jump. Cameron Horton set a new personal record in the 110-meter hurdles. He finished in 14.66 seconds, and he finished first in the 100-meter dash. As always, the full meet results can be found at WKUsports.com. For her efforts, Katie Eisenbarger was named the CUSA Female Track Athlete of the Week. It was her 5th time total earning that award. Her jump of 1.86 meters ranks first in Conference USA this season. It ranks second in the NCAA Division I East region, and it ranks 5th in all of Division I. So just, an absolutely amazing mark to be top 5 in the nation. Katie Eisenbarger, the athlete of the week. Got to give her props. Definitely just excelling. She, former volleyball player, switched over, went to track, and just is dominating in the high jump. Love to see it. And then Cameron Horton, he was also named the CUSA Male Track Athlete of the Week after his 110-meter hurdle victory and his 100-meter dash victory. So, the track toppers doing a lot of good. Obviously outdoor season is getting going now, so we love to see all these personal best, personal records, breaking school records, and then being named athletes of the week in Conference USA. So good news on the track. Let's keep that going.
Yeah, the track toppers are really doing their thing, really showing out, and that's awesome to see and to hear. Softball versus Liberty, they won game 1 to a score of 1-0, lost game 2 to a score of 1-9, and then lost game 3 5-7.
Yeah, Liberty got the best of us in that series. Hard fought series. I know game 2 kind of got away from us. We lost 1-9. after we won game one, which is 1-0. That's a tough, gritty victory. Game two got away from us. In game three, right in it there to the end, lost 5-7. I'm starting to hate to lose to Liberty in anything, and when it happens, I don't like it. LU, I don't like it. Sorry, Jeremiah, but softball will bounce back. I have no doubt about that.
Moving on to some highlights. Baseball won against number 8 Dallas Baptist. They won the series. Won game one to a score of 4-1. Won game two 6-3. Lost game three 0-3. But then baseball turned around and had a in-state rival against Louisville, and they won that 3-2. Epic extra inning walk-off victory. Junior Eli Burwash had the extra inning game-winning hit up the middle that scored the game-winning run. The play at the plate was reviewed, but ultimately stood as a ruled a scored run and a game winner.
Yeah, I've got to talk about that series victory versus Dallas Baptist because, one, I don't want to take anything away from Dallas Baptist. They are a really good program. They're a top 10 program in the nation. They have been that consistently. They're really good. So the fact that they came to Bowling Green and we beat them in 2 out of 3 games, which I think was our first top 10, top 20 series victory in 20 years, I think, if I recall correctly, is just a testament to Mark Rarden and this team and just how far they've come, how much they bought in. There were a lot of people last year after the season ended, and we saw just the gates open, and there were a lot of transfers that left this team. I think we only had 3 or 4 players that stayed from last year and returned this year. And just a lot of people were freaking out because, how's this team going to look? We were pretty good last year, but at the end of the day, you have to trust Mark Rarden. He's the head coach. He's getting paid a lot of money to put the best team on the field. He's a junior college coach. Quite frankly, that's where he cut his teeth for a lot of years, and he was really good in that ranks. And, to JUCO levels, one, you find talent that's been overlooked or didn't go D1 for whatever reason, but you also deal with roster turnover. You have those guys for a year or two, and then they go to another 4-year university and hopefully finish out their career. So he's very well versed in today's era of player movement, transfers, just roster turnover organically as it happens, graduation or transfer, whatever that may be. So looking at these wins versus Dallas Baptist, first in game one, sophomore Jack Bennett pitched 8.8 2/3 innings with 11 strikeouts and only allowed 1 run in the dominating victory. Then in game two, senior Jacob Bamby pitched 5 2/3 innings. He did not allow a run and only gave up 4 hits. For his efforts, Jack Bennett was named the Conference USA Pitcher of the Week. And WKU Baseball now has 4 top 50 victories on the season, and they're 23-11 on the season as it stands right now. We've had a couple more games. We had a Louisville game and a Lipscomb game that we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But, WKU Baseball stock is rising, man. I mean, they're just doing real good. And, it's time to get behind that team. That program I feel like it's been a long time since they've been really, really good. And they're on the brink and the cusp of being really, really good. So get out. If you haven't been to the game at Nick Dens Field, a lot of the field, the stadium, the seats have been upgraded. There's a party deck now. The video board has been updated. The infield turf has been updated. Go catch a game. The weather's getting nicer now. And go support this team. They're really good. Moving on, tennis lost to Liberty last weekend. Again, we lost to Liberty in something. They lost 0-4. Hate to talk about that. Again, I don't like talking about losses much. They lost the match. Move on, get better, learn from it. Looking at women's golf, they competed in an invitational in Chattanooga. They finished second overall. The usual suspect, Katie Craig, finished third. It was her 9th straight top 10 finish and her 7th finish in the top 3. So just absolute amazing consistency. I know we were talking about her last fall. And and just the U.S. Amateur Open where she competed and had a really strong outing, and she's carried that right into this spring and is just dominating every event she's in. She's threatening the top of that leaderboard. Our other finishers, Sarah Arnold finished tied for 8th. Sydney Hackett was tied for 15th. Addie Westbrook was tied for 17th. And Avery Klein finished in 80th place for our second place Lady Hilltopper. So love to see that. Good news and good finish there.
All right, moving on now to men's golf. They competed at App State, finished tied for 2nd overall. Luke Fuller, he finished tied for 4th. Nick Hoffman tied for 11th. Gage Doyle and Stephen Warren tied for 23. Riley Grindstaff tied for 27th. And Connery Myers tied for 32nd.
Yeah, the men's team, they started a little bit slower this spring. Their first couple invitationals weren't as strong as finishes, but it was really, positive to see them finish tied for 2nd, just like the ladies did, and really hoping they keep that momentum moving forward. They had 3 in the top 11, and then all of them finished in the top 32. That's a pretty good order of finish for any tournament, and that's going to have you high on the leaderboard no matter where you're at. So keep on keeping it up, men Hilltoppers.
WKU tennis beat MTSU 4-1 on Senior Day. 4 seniors were recognized: Sadea Hernandez, Anna Marie Kopeka, Paola Cortez, and Samantha Martinez.
Yeah, anytime you beat MTSU in anything, I don't care what it is. I don't care if you pass them on the interstate and beat them to the exit. I don't care what it is. We beat them in something, football, basketball, what we usually beat them in, tennis, bowling, cricket. I don't care. Thumb wrestling, we beat them. We don't like MTSU. 100 miles of hate is there for a reason. Every sport, it's relevant. And, we had 4 seniors that were recognized. I'm glad they got to go out with a victory in their last home match. So, yeah, sorry, MTSU, take that L.
WKU Baseball beat Lipscomb 9-8 on an other walk-off. Camden Ross won the game on a sacrifice bunt that scored 2 runs after an errant throw. Teams now 23-11 overall, 6-3 in Conference USA play.
Yeah, I alluded to this earlier when we talked about the Dallas Baptist results. Since that had happened last weekend, we had a midweek with Louisville. We won that in walk-off fashion. Then we had a midweek earlier today as we record, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. They played at, I think it was 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock today. And we won again on another walk-off, just basically owning the Louisville area right now. WKU Baseball is streaking. They're hot. 23-11. That's a really good win-loss record. We're 6-3 in Conference USA play. So, like I said, no time better than now to get behind this baseball team. Most of the other sports have slowed down and are stopping. You've got golf, tennis, track and field, and baseball to support. And, most of those aren't your normal spectator sports. So go out, nation's pastime is baseball. Go out, have a cold drink, some concessions, and go watch some Hilltopper baseball, man. We're winning a lot of ball games. Now we've got some Hilltopper commits to talk about, and one is our first basketball commit under the Hank Plana era, and that is Braxton Bayless. He is a 6'2", 185-pound guard. He's a transfer from Niagara. He previously played for Coach Plana at Indian Hills. Last season, he averaged 11.5 points per game, 2.1 rebounds per game, and 2.5 assists per game. And he was the team's leading scorer coming off the bench. He was the first person off the bench. He shot 50.6% from the field and 45.5% from 3. I will take both of those. A really efficient scorer, somebody who knows what he's getting into with Hank Plana. So real excited for what he is going to bring to the team. Now, I don't know what that means as far as scholarships. We talked about last episode not knowing exactly who was going to come back. And, there may be some guys that do or don't, depending on what they want to do professionally. And that still hasn't been announced. There's nothing official out there. Hank Plana was on another podcast, the CUSA Insider, and talked about, trying to help guys, a couple of those 5th and 6th year guys figure out what they want to do. But this kind of has some writing on the wall that there may be some movement in the future, but nothing official has been announced as of now. Then WKU Volleyball announced a signee. They announced the addition of Camilla Adams to the 2024 class. She is a 5'8" defensive specialist from Salisbury, Indiana. And quite frankly, Travis Hudson, the legacy and the dynasty, the program that he's built, if he spots talent and thinks they're good enough to come play for us, I am not going to question him. I have a feeling she's going to be a really good player for us. So I'm looking forward to seeing her on the court and in Diddle and helping us win a lot of games. And then we have a track signee to announce. Our track and cross country program announced the signing of distance runner Tatum Mashoff from Muscatine, Illinois. So welcome to the Hill, all of our newest hill toppers. Like we like to say, welcome to the Hill. Glad to have you. And then lastly, the Red Towel Trust announced their official partnership with the Bowling Green Housing Authority. Again, this is now their third official partnership with the community outreach program. Just going to provide opportunities for our student athletes to just be out in the community, be visible, be seen, interact with kids and just people who just may not have a lot, may not come from a lot, and just help them see what opportunities may be out there. Help them have goals and aspirations to hopefully better their lives. Go to college, be athletes, be professional students, whatever that may be. Just great to see more partnerships coming from the Red Towel Trust, and I promise you, there's more coming. A lot of big stuff cooking with the Red Towel Trust, and just can't wait to see where that goes and more future partnerships down the line.
And with that, that concludes the Red Towel Wrap Up, brought to you by the Trent Bedding Company. Moff, back to you.
Yeah, man, that's obviously Trent Bedding got their money's worth today, because that was a 20 plus minute recap of a lot of WKU sports. A lot of stuff going on right now. Basketball's ended, but I think it's fair to all the other programs and all the other student athletes that choose and proudly wear WKU across their chest, that we give them the same amount of shine that we would give our basketball and our football athletes that are doing the same thing. They get more publicity just organically, TV and audience wise, or a lot more eyes are on them. But we stated from the onset of this podcast that we were going to cover all WKU athletics, big or small, home or away. There's nothing that we're not going to cover. Commitments, game results, just whatever it is, we're going to talk about it. So, I felt we owed it to just all of WKU athletics and just anyone listening to just help better your fanhood and help have you, help you be more engaged with other sports. And, there's a lot of other, your non big three sports that are still competing, still, doing very well. Quite frankly, having the number 2 ranked high jump team in the nation is pretty impressive. You wouldn't expect that. You wouldn't just, oh yeah, sure, yeah, Western Kentucky's a high jump mecca apparently, but we have 3 girls that are finishing 1, 2, and 3 in almost every single meet. Katie Eisenbarger, again, former Hilltopper volleyball legend, has moved over to track and field now and is just dominating over there. So we've got to give all these athletes their props, their shine, their moment on the podcast. We've had Kason Barton was on the podcast previously, friend of the podcast. I just shared him on Instagram. He's running for SGA, student government. So definitely go check him out. Vote for him. Good guy, athlete on the track and on the field. But outside that, he's a student, and ultimately he's going to go professional in something else in his life. But he is a leader, within the student community as well. So, all these athletes, everyone that chooses to come to Western, we're going to talk about, we're going to highlight, and just give them all the props that we can. There's just too much good going on. Obviously as the summer, is now upon us, a lot of sports are winding down. We're going to talk about these guys, these girls, as they compete for our school. Spring games coming up real soon, NFL drafts coming up real soon. I'm sure we'll have some more juicy episodes revolving around those in the very, very near future. But until then, let's be thankful and recognize all these other hilltoppers that are, proudly and just very well in a high excelling manner representing our university. So thank you to all of them, and go Tops as always. Tyler, give us your final words and take us out of here.
All right, I don't know if it's going to be much because I'm pretty tired. I've been yawning over here, trying not to. But no, yeah, since I'm on first shift, our episode's going to be recorded a lot earlier than between 11 and 12 a.m., 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. So they're going to be hitting the streaming services a lot earlier now, or maybe push them out overnight. But no, just kind of echo what you said. It is great that we get to shine light on on tennis and golf, men and women's golf, and some of them lesser known sports, because it takes a lot of training and a whole lot of sacrifice to be able to excel in them sports. And kind of like what Katie Craig did, at the U.S. Amateurs last year, and she's still doing her thing, still doing great things out there on the golf course. Maybe the casual fan wouldn't know about that, but shining light on that, maybe someone will recognize her and be like, hey, keep up the good work, go up there, dap her up or something. I don't know if I don't know if she's up for dapping, but and if we could get more people out there to the baseball field to get on that party porch. I saw where that went up. I ain't been able to get out there yet. I would like to. I'd also like to get out there and watch a couple of the softball games. I think, that's the softball is entertaining to watch. I've actually got to go to some of my wife's games and watch, just high school softball. It's fun. I think everyone should go and get to enjoy baseball, softball, and all that stuff. It's crazy that every day we're moving closer to our 1 year anniversary.
4 days away. 4 days away.
But no, that's awesome. And then, next weekend we're both going to be at the spring game. Get them front row seats to see what this next season of Hilltopper football is going to look like. See how them QB battle will be going. That's raising a lot of questions. See how they have progressed, and see which one may be out there as QB1 come fall time, when we play Alabama. But it's always good to wake up, be a Hilltopper fan. And with that, I will say, Moff, who has it better than us?
Nobody, buddy. You already know it. Go Tops.
Go Tops, y'all.
Later, guys.
See you.